Hello and welcome to CLC Online. I hope everyone is well. Do put in the chat if you're watching for the first time or if you're just watching in general. Do use the chat. We'd love to connect with you. Want to know who's watching, where you're watching from, and whether this is your first time. Um, yeah, it's good to be back. And we're in force tonight. Um, there's myself and Carl, who you already know, but we have Paula on. Whee! And we'll introduce Paula in a sec. Um, oh, Tracy's. Oh, it's all right. Tracy's on, but um, she's on this, but she's not live. I nearly clicked you on there for some reason. Tracy's on our streaming session, and not the Zoom session for later, so that's funny. But yeah, it just confused me. There's a fourth person coming in on our chat, but we're all right. We're all right. I nearly invited her then, but I think she might kill me, wouldn't she?
She would. She would.
But cool. Yeah, so we want to just welcome everybody, really. This is your space. We've got about half an hour. And then straight after this, we're going to go on Zoom where we just chat together. No agenda. Just chat about what we've been talking about or chat for anything that you want to talk about or you got something that you want to share. It's your time just to connect with us more. We just want to be more intentional. And obviously, when we do this, it's a little bit harder because we've only got the chat. But we want to talk to you and we want to connect with those who are not either in Widnes or St Helens that are in the churches. You know, we've got a number of people that watch from other places, especially we want to lift up the guys from Southport. We know we always have a number of people from Southport that do tune in. So we just want to let you guys know that we're standing with you and we're praying for you guys right now. Kirsty and I were at the vigil last night, and it was a very touching to see so many people come out, even though there was a bit of a kerfuffle afterwards with the riots. But yeah, God is good, and you know we will not allow things like that to just get in the way because the true message is out there. But thank you for joining us anyway. Let me have a look who's on and give them a shout before we introduce our new person. Introduce her a little bit more. Why is she even here? Why are you even here, Paula? So we just want to welcome some people. We got Anshan on. Great to see you, Anshan. Anshan's from Delamere. She's part of St Helens team. Tracy Wayne, she got confused. She's on. She says, was confused. And we got Louise Monahan. Great to see you, Louise. Louise is in Southport as well. So we know that we pray for you guys in Southport and all the stuff that's happening there. I'm sure more and more people will get on in a minute. But please do just type it in the chat. We have got online passes on standby. We're on the chat as well. We're going to be looking at that. I've got a couple of chats going so I can see you all. I'll be able to see your messages. And if I don't see any of your messages, we have got online pastors that will reply to you as well. So if you've got any prayer requests, you've got any testimonies, anything you want to connect with us, please use the chat. We would love to hear from you. But let's introduce Paula. Paula is from our Witness team, and she's an MIT. And what is that? We're just going to give this space over to Paula for her to introduce herself, share a little bit about who she is, testimony, and then we'll come back and just chat.
How long have I got? I forgot to.
All night.
As long as you want. If we go longer, we go longer.
No, it's fine. Don't worry. So I'm Paula, and I am an MIT, which is Minister in Training with Elam. And I'm about probably halfway into the journey. So I'm learning a lot on the way. But in terms of kind of my story and where it all began, I was raised in a Christian family, but had a bit of an unusual sort of childhood because my dad is an evangelist, missionary, pastor, whatever you want to call him. And he'd always had this dream he wanted to drive right across America. So when I was about 8, he and my mum and my little brother, we packed up everything. They sold their house and everything. And we ended up on board a Pan Am aeroplane to Michigan, of all places. And over the next sort of 4 years, the following 2 years, we traveled right across America. My dad was preaching and teaching in different churches, and we got homeschooled. We lived in a caravan, of all things, and ended up in San Francisco in the end. And we went to school in a little town called Pacifica, right on the beach. So I had like a really kind of interesting childhood, lots of homeschooling memories. And by the time we got back to England when I was about 12, I had this American accent. I didn't know any cultural references at all in the UK. People were talking about things like Grange Hill, and I'd be like, what's that? And so I think like growing up in that environment church was all I ever knew. It's all I ever knew. And I didn't have many friends outside of church. Everything that we did was centered around church. And it's a great, safe environment to grow up in, but it's also a very sheltered environment. But I think a lot of those early travel days really gave me the big kind of travel bug. And we moved back to Widnes. I was actually born in Liverpool, but we moved back to Widnes. And I went to school there, and then I ended up going to Liverpool University. And from that point onwards, job-wise, I've always been interested in kind of everything that's creative, media, that kind of thing. Writing, used to write all sorts of short stories and have all sorts of things published and whatnot. But that's kind of led me to a career in media. So my first job was working for a TV program in London, which is still on air today, called This Morning. And I worked for them for a couple of years in London. And after that, had various jobs, mostly on public relations side in media, taking all sorts of kind of celebrities out to projects and seeing them overseas and making documentaries and all sorts of things. I mean, it just goes on and on. But it's been like those years were really, really interesting. I think certainly my first couple of years post-university, living in London, working for what appeared to be quite a glamorous TV show and life and all the rest of it. And I think that's when things really start to become real for me in terms of my faith. I'd had an encounter with Jesus kind of quite early on when I was about 4, and then felt like I kind of got introduced to him again when I was about 12, 13, 14, 15, surrounded by all of this. But all of a sudden I'm outside of my normal Christian bubble, not going to church. There's a lot of drinking, a lot of like craziness going on. And I just fell headfirst into it because I just thought, nobody's watching. I can do what I want, And just through various different experiences, just slowly and really gently, God just started pulling me back to him. And I just remember one night going to this mad party and then coming home and had way too much to drink. I'm not even sure how I got home. And I got home, and normally I'd come home and I'd just be like in a really good place, I remember sitting on the side of the bed and I just felt so lonely, and I didn't know why. And I thought, I'm surrounded by everything that looks brilliant. And I just felt God say to me, and I hadn't prayed, I hadn't read my Bible in probably quite a few years. And I felt God just say to me, I'm still here. And it was just really simple. I'm still here. And I was thinking, what? I'm still here? And that little kind of just the voice of God just speaking straight to my heart just set me off on this whole brand new journey of realizing that no matter how far away I'd walked away from him, it was still there. And all that had been invested into me as a child, and he just wanted me back, And not long after that, I kind of jacked in the job, got my life right, started going back to church. Jacked in the job. Everybody thought I was insane because I was kind of meeting all these, famous people and doing all this kind of, cool stuff. And I ended up joining a mobile evangelistic team and going back to America. And for the next few years, lived on a 40-foot tour bus, singing and traveling all across America. Went to 42 states in about 18 months. Went to South Africa, Australia, all over the place. Anyway, won't go into all of that. But so over the last few years, it's just been kind of quite a wild journey, really. And these days I work in Christian media now, doing public relations, still get to travel occasionally and, do lots of interesting things. But I think to sort of wrap it up, I think the thing that's always stayed with me is that from being an early age, I've always felt like there's been the handprint of God on my life. And that's just purely come from the investment of my parents. My mum died quite suddenly a few years ago. And even throughout all of that, it's this sense of being held together. And when God spoke to me such a long time ago and said, I'm still here. And that's been the story of my life, that no matter what I go through, he's still there,
Mm-hmm.
So that's the kind of the nano pocket version. There's a lot more to it. So, but yeah, that's a little bit about me. And then that process then led me towards MIT. And the very short version of that was, as I said, back in 2001, my mum, 2021, my mum died very suddenly. I was very, very close to my mum. And she went into hospital for a routine operation and got a phone call expecting them to say, come get her. And it was to say she died. She just had a sudden heart attack and died in hospital. And, that kind of threw all of our worlds into kind of what nobody ever expects that to happen quite like that, And I just remember in the months afterwards just thinking, I want to channel all of this, this pain and put it into something really good, because my self-destructive habits of the past could quite easily throw themselves back up again, And that led me to going to Bible college, and then the process of applying to ministry and training, even though I said I was never going to do it. But that's a whole different story of how I ended up. And here I am. So there you go. That's the sort of 5-6 minute version of who I am. So, yeah.
Wow. That is impressive that you managed to fit all that in that time. I'm not going to lie. I don't think I knew about the American trips.
Oh, right. Okay.
I'm well impressed.
There's some serious pictures of me in all sorts of bizarre costumes on stages across America and all sorts of stuff.
That is a dream of mine as well, to travel just around America.
Yeah.
Try to convince the family to do that. I might do the same as your dad. Just sell up everything and go. If you're watching Craig, I'm only joking. Yeah. Oh wow. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. That's especially the vulnerable as well. Obviously sad news about your mum, and to lose her so suddenly as well. So thank you for sharing.
Pretty cool.
No one's asked any questions yet, so I think maybe everyone's just processing that, because that was like, it's just so good. But I just wanted to let you people know, and I don't know if you've got any questions, Carl. Well, I just a question for Paula, but just mention that actually what we're doing, why the reason Paula's here is Paula's going to be joining our team online. You normally used to see me or Carl alternating. I don't know what the word is for alternating 3 times. I'm not clued up on that. But we're going to alternate 3 times, and we're going to just take it in turns, just like leading. So you're not just getting bored of just hearing me all the time or Carl, even though so many people get in contact and say, they love listening to Carl. He is such a great teacher. And so I'm like, cool, more of Carl then. But actually, we got more of Paula as well.
I've got a feeling it might just end up being me and Paula. Dave will just sort of go.
That is our word of the Lord. No, I'll still be around. I'm like a bad smell. You can't get rid of me. No, but Paula's going to be jumping online. But she also is a minister in training in the Witness Church. So we have CLC St Helens and CLC Witness. And Paula is the MIT, the minister in training over there. But she's also going to be focusing a lot on the online stuff as well from there. But we're going to link together because we are one body after all. Carl, do you have any amazing questions for Paula?
I'm just interested in the Christian media that you're working with currently.
Yeah, I work for UCB, so it's United Christian Pastors. So a lot of people know us for Word for Today devotionals, but we've got a couple of radio stations and that kind of stuff. So I'm responsible for the public relations and marketing. So
All right.
if you see things that come out, usually I've been involved in some way or other. So, yeah, so it's good. I've been there for quite a while now. It's it's growing, and no 2 days are the same. I never know what my day is gonna include when I walk in the morning. That's what keeps it interesting. So.
And in between that, you've got to fit the ministry and training stuff in as well.
Yep, exactly.
While traveling.
Yeah.
Exactly. Are you up and down to Stoke every day then?
Well, no, I live around here. So I live just outside Stoke in a little village. Really, really cute. And so I go to witness at weekends. So it's my dad's in that church. My dad recently got remarried, but he's got quite a lot of health problems. So I jump on over and kind of help out as best I can on Sundays at church, and then do things for my dad as well. Keep his wheels turning. So
he's an absolute legend, isn't he?
He is. He certainly is. Nothing's going to stop him. He just keeps going and going and going.
I was just so impressed with him on Sunday because I was looking over, and obviously nobody else knows this because we were there. But during worship, your dad stood up the entire time.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
And he's not very good on his legs, is he?
He isn't.
And the fact that he stood up the entire time, I was blown away by that. I mean, I was struggling standing up for that long. I had to sit down, and I'm looking over, and I felt guilty, so I just stood up, back up, and I still stood up.
It is. If he can do it, that's it. He's got Parkinson's, and he's due to have a hip replacement, so he can barely walk at the moment. So he's, but he's kind of weak in body, as he says, but mighty in spirit. He is. He really is. So
feisty man of God, he is.
Yes.
And I'm sure that's in the bloodline as well, Paul. I'm sure that's who you are as well. Cool. Right, I'm just going to put in the chat the Zoom link. So we got about 5 minutes. I've just putting that in. So do come on afterwards if you want to connect more. You've got any questions, or we just chat. There's no agenda really. We don't record it, do we, Carl?
No.
We just
totally private,
and it's just a time where, if you imagine if you're in this, because this is your church, this is church as we know it, and what we kind of try and do is the aftermath, the Zoom is what you would do after the service. We would go and have a coffee, go and have a chat, have a chinwag, and just build community, build relationships. So that's kind of what we do, and we've had a number of people come on, and it's been really fruitful. So do come on there. Just before we go, 5 minutes, Carl, have you got any words of wisdom or anything you would like to share or about yourself?
I've just been touched. I've been glued to the Olympics. The call flow on my job has been slow, so I've been able to have BBC iPlayer set up. But what's really amazed me is how many of these athletes in Britain are all declaring for God.
Wow.
You've got Adam Peaty, who has gone through the worst of times despite having 2 Olympic golds. He said, he just felt broke, and he went down alcohol and drugs. But it was a Christian mentor that helped him, bring him around. And now, the guy's renowned for his tattoos, but he's got a tattoo, Into the Light. And he said at the end of it all, when he was being interviewed, he was happy. He said, "I'm happy." He said, I've become a religious person, for the expression. He said, but I just asked God to let me show my heart.
That's it.
And then today, I was watching the synchronized diving.
Oh, yeah.
And Fred Sirio's daughter, the French guy, his daughter was diving, and they got the bronze medal, and they were interviewing, and they went to his daughter, and she goes, "I just want to give glory to God."
Wow.
That was the first word she said. "I just want to give glory to God and nothing else." And it's just been a phenomenal thing that people are realizing, you know, it's, mind you, with what's gone on in Southport, people wonder where God is in all of this. And I'm not ashamed to admit I sat crying just listening to what and the way it affected people.
Oh yeah,
And
totally.
it just makes you wonder what goes through people's minds, that they would pick on little kids.
I know.
Do you know what I mean? And it you know, some people will say, well, where's God in all of this? Well,
Julie Wilson has just said right in the middle.
right in the middle.
That's where.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. He's right in the middle. But the best response I've heard to where's God when this is happening, where's God where that is happening, is God is a God that allows you to have a choice. You can choose to invite him into the center of your life, or you can leave him out. Why would you expect him not to respect your wishes? If he's not going to be in your life for the rest of your days, why all of a sudden would you want this person you don't believe in to suddenly step up and stop things happening? You know, you can't have it. You can't have it both ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, but he's there. He is there in the center of all. And I just love the declarations that have been going out. I mean, you've got the Fijian rugby sevens team. They stand and they pray before and after. And you see the guys when they're coming to score a try, they don't just put the ball down. They make the shape of the cross. You know, everything is a witness. And you know, everything's always hands up to God when they're celebrating. It's just amazing thing.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting as well, because there was so much controversy over the opening ceremony.
Yeah.
What's really interesting was that it still kicked off a really interesting discussion about the Bible and who Jesus is. I was reading that online, and I was like, even people who don't believe are actually talking about Jesus and the Last Supper.
That's it.
And I was like, okay, this is good. That's not what it was intended to do, but I love it when people are still having those conversations, because it's forcing them to remember what they learned about the Bible as kids, or, you know, and so it kicks off a pretty interesting discussion online as well, I think. So
yeah. There's a revolution coming in a Christian sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think Revivolution, that is what I was speaking with Teresa and Kevin Dedman on the Zoom last week, and they said they felt like there was a revivolution. That was it. Revivolution's coming. Okay. Revival and a revolution together. I'm like, I love the sound of that.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So let's see that happen. And for it to start, I imagine revival starting at the Olympics. That would be Oh, Jenny's on. Jenny Hankins on. She said, sorry I missed today's session. I've been at work. Is the Zoom on tonight? Yeah, we're straight on. The Zoom links there. I will just put it out again.
No, it's pros.
It's a pro. Baptism as well. She came to CLC St Helens and got baptized. So through connecting with us online. So that was amazing.
We're trying to encourage her to speak. Dave froze again. I think he has.
He has.
It's a crazy signal system that quite often affects the main streaming service as well.
Right. Okay.
It's a pain. It's an absolute pain. Because quite often we're there in church or
he's gone.
Sat at home. I have frozen, he says.
Okay. Well, it's over to you. I'm the new kid. I can't take over.
At this time, we typically sign off and then go on to the Zoom meeting.
Great.
David's the one that typically launches the Zoom meeting and lets everybody in, and then we just have a chat. And we
Great.
say every time, every week, come and join us.
Yep.
Come and listen. You don't have to speak. You don't even have to turn your cameras on. It's private, but it's fellowship.
Yeah.
We can have a chat and a chinwag. And sometimes some people will share what they've learned or what God's spoken to them about while we've been sharing as we've been going through the book of John for the last 2 years. Can't
Great.
believe it's 2 years.
Great. Sounds good.
So I'm just going to assume David's going to launch that, and we might as well. Can't get back for some reason.
Nope.
Right, okay. So Dave's saying he can't get back on, but just mention that tonight is the last time, and we'll pick back up again regularly on the Wednesday night from September. We'll let you know what date in September that's going to be. But you know where we are if you've got any questions, any queries, any issues you want praying about. I'm sorry, I'm just, for the first time ever, I can see the chats. And there's things flinging in from side by side, and it's not normally. I've got my social secretary Tracy. She's sat in the background shouting things across to me to pick up. Well, yeah. So yeah, we're gonna leave now. Enjoy, everybody. Enjoy the time off. If you get to go away, enjoy your time away, time with family, friends, and we will. If we don't see you on Sundays, we'll see you next time we sign on. Come and join us on the Zoom. We'll see you soon.
Thanks.
Cheers now. See you later, Paula.